They thought divorce was the glow-up. They didn't realize it was the wake-up call.
You know what? I'm real embarrassed to say this, but every single day when I'm driving from one job to the other, I just think to myself, wow, you're so pathetic. You've been married twice, you're a two-time divorcee, and not once out of either of those times did you marry for money. What an idiot. You know? What an idiot. I mean, yeah, sure, the first one, the kids are cool, but it'd be way cooler if we were just sitting on the side of some exotic island swimming with some cute pigs. In one hand, I've got a drink with an umbrella, in the other, you know, I'm just waving it around like I just don't care. Huh? Not once could you marry for money. My God, get it together.
In the manosphere framing, this isn't sold as bitterness. It's sold as math. Modern women file for divorce, believing they're trading sideways at worst and upgrading at best, convinced that confidence alone increases market value. The narrative says they mistake comfort for limitation and stability for settling, assuming something better is guaranteed, simply because they believe they deserve it.
Y'all, imagine being married, asking for a divorce for a specific reason, and then regretting that shit later. Okay, so there was this woman on TikTok who made a video about her friend. So her and her friend went out recently, and her friend was married for 11 years to a man that she thought they were going to be together forever and ever and ever, because they were just a super cute couple. They had a really good dynamic, and they got along really well and never had crazy issues, right? So but she's now divorced and has been divorced for 3 years. And so she asks her, like, oh, like, why did you end up, getting divorced? And she said, well, I am the one who asked for the divorce because I got bored. She said the relationship got really boring. She was a stay-at-home mom. All he did was work, and they were well off. So this guy is putting in a lot of hours and a lot of work time, so that way they can live the comfortable life they were living. Okay, he paying all the bills. So she said she got bored always being home, taking care of the kids, and not really having them time or doing like spontaneous fun stuff. Well, she would tell him about it, and he would try to take her out and try to do stuff, but it just felt like it wasn't enough, and it wasn't the same for her that, like it used to be when you're in a fresh relationship. Well, duh, bitch, it's been 11 years. Spice it up. You do something. Anyway, so she asked for a divorce. He gave it to her, and she's been dating for these past 3 years, and so she asks her, how's it been? How's the dating life been, okay? And she tells her, honestly, it's been trash. It was fun at first, but now it's not fun because I'm looking for something serious now, and no guys want to take shit serious. All they want to do is have fun, right? Club, bar, let's go out, let's do this, let's travel, let's do that. It's always go, 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 go. And that is what she wanted in the beginning, but that's not what she wants now, 3 years later, right? So now she's like, I want to get serious with someone, and I want someone to help me with my kids and help me, and I don't fucking know. She wanted to be a stay-at-home mom again, okay? What she wanted was her old life that she chose to give up for some fun, temporary fun at that, right? So she left this good-ass man for bullshit just to regret it. And he has been now in a relationship for 2 years of the 3 years they've been divorced. So a year he took to himself, then he found someone, and he's been with that person for 2 years. She is now moved in. She is now living the life that this woman once was living. And she herself has 2 kids, so he's helping her with her kids and his kids. And she's kind of like offended by that. Shorty, you gave him up. He got every right to be happy. And he was a good one, because somebody cuffed him up real fucking quick and knew how to keep him. So all I gotta say is, if you got a good man, keep him. Keep him. Be bored, bitch. Figure it out.
But belief doesn't override leverage. The man who felt replaceable often proves harder to replace than expected. The lifestyle that seemed ordinary suddenly looks structured and secure once it's gone. Predictability, once criticized, starts to resemble peace of mind.
So for those of you who got divorced, I'm curious, how long was your marriage not great before you filed? It was just on a girls' trip with my mom and my sister. And it was a very triggering vacation. We went to the same resort I went on my baby moon too. But we talked about how one of the hardest things for my mom and for me is that everything happened so fast. We had a beautiful relationship. That was August, and at the end of November, I asked for the divorce. 4 months. 4 months I suffered. That's it, which feels so weird. And I should be grateful that we didn't have, 5-10 years of a crappy marriage. But it also makes it even harder because it came with doubt. It came with a lot of doubts of, did I make the right decision? Should we have suffered longer? Should we have gone to therapy longer? So I'm curious, how long did you suffer? And do you wish you had filed for divorce earlier? I'm very proud of myself for leaving. I left for what was only an emotional affair, just to find out 4 months after the divorce was finalized that there was actually a total of 2 women, at least, and 11 months of affairs. The hardest part is that 8 of those 11 months, I thought we were perfect. He was telling our therapist at the very end that I was a walking green flag. Things were perfect. He had a facade for so long. But I divorced the nice guy. I didn't divorce the man who yelled at me. I didn't divorce the man who belittled me. I didn't divorce the man who we didn't go on dates. Our marriage was beautiful. And that's one of the hardest things out of this whole process, was we went from being the couple people envied, the family people envied, saying, always and forever plus a day, to out of nowhere. This is where, borderline personality disorder and splitting. One day to the very next, I was on a pedestal, and the very next day, he completely discarded me. I never saw this coming. And my mom, shared how that's honestly the hardest part too. It's very eerie. It scares me. I don't know him. So I don't know. I don't know if it's better or worse that I only suffered for a total of 4 months before I filed for divorce. I don't know if it's affected my healing process. Maybe if I had suffered for longer, it would have been a more celebratory divorce, and I would have been very grateful to have left. But yeah, that was a big realization that that's what's really been hard for me to heal, was it came out of nowhere, and I just had to accept it. And it just feels like someone just pulled the rug out from under me.
Then reality introduces competition. The dating pool isn't a cheering section. It's a marketplace. Attention is abundant, but commitment is selective. Messages and compliments feel validating at first, but they don't automatically convert into long-term security. The difference between being desired and being chosen becomes painfully clear.
Who initiated the divorce?
I initiated the divorce.
What was the reason?
Okay, we were young and we didn't communicate well. And really for me, if I'm honest, it's that he was emotionally disconnected. I felt alone in the marriage. I tried really hard to find ways to get through to him, and I couldn't. And so eventually I checked out and became very resentful and angry.
Shared custody?
Shared custody.
50-50?
Yeah, I'm really close to my dad, so I didn't want to deny him that.
Was he paying you child support?
Yes, and I did get child support all the way through until my kids went to college. But it really didn't amount to that much.
Just curious, how much was he paying you?
At the beginning, I think I probably got around $6,000 a month in like child support and alimony. But this is a man who made a lot of money. He was paying me, I just remembered. So I got about $2,500 a month for child support and about $5,000 a month for alimony. Maybe it sounds like no money to you, or maybe it sounds like a lot, but relative to what my ex-husband made, I really got very little money, and it was never enough to feel remotely comfortable. So I wish I had fought a little harder.
I left my husband 5 months ago and I regret it. No, you're not supposed to say that. I know I'm supposed to be in my living my best life, hoe era, whatever, but no. These last 5 months have broken my spirit. They have been the hardest of my life. These last 5 months have required so much work, so much discipline to get back to myself. But it's supposed to suck. I talked to my friend last night about this on the phone, and he really put it in perspective for me. Said the year you get a divorce was going to suck regardless. I question my decisions constantly. No matter what choice I made, I would have been miserable regardless. I
Life is not supposed to be happy and perfect all the time. Most growth comes from the times when we are having to do the work, having to sit in our misery, having to sit in the quiet. And that is exactly what I'm doing. 31 and I feel like I'm 18 again, trying to navigate the world. Because you know what I regret more than leaving my husband? It having to get to that point anyway. I regret marrying the wrong person in the first place and not listening to my intuition. From my mistakes. So that you can learn from me being a dumbass. Because I feel dumb all the time. Of course, it's normal to have regret. I regret so many things in my life, but I can't let it ruin my life either. Never learn from things going right. We learn from them going wrong, and I'm holding on to that. I regret that I had to get to that point. I didn't want it to, but it happened, and we move on.
Meanwhile, time keeps moving. The same standards that once felt non-negotiable start getting quietly adjusted. What was once bare minimum becomes at least he's consistent. The list of requirements shrinks as experience expands.
Left me with nothing, homeless, left me a single parent to our child with nothing. My biggest regret is not investing in myself. I can blame my ex all I want for that. Ultimately, I did not demand that we invest in me. And for all my ex's hobbies and dreams and goals, we put all of our extra money toward it all the time. After investing in my spouse for 15 years, they decided that now that they had this great job, that they would just toss me aside and move to a fancy new place and wanted to take all their money with them. If I had invested some of that time, some of that money over those 15 years into me, then I wouldn't be struggling the way that I am right now. I should have invested in myself more.
I married the nice guy, the guy who made me laugh. I married the guy who was stable, who didn't yell. I married the guy who wasn't afraid to get down on the floor and play with kids. I married the guy who laughed really loudly, who didn't seem to care if anybody was watching. I married the guy who was soft with me.
And she keeps going on and literally describe like the guy that I guess any woman could ask for. The perfect guy. Then goes on to say that they are going through a divorce that she initiated. So you mean to tell me if you are hand delivered the perfect guy, listen, we don't have to, accuse anybody of anything. She literally said it out of her own mouth, so y'all can't go against that. The perfect guy hand delivered to you, and you telling me you just out of nowhere just want to I think I should find something new. I can find something better. If you already have the best, how could you get better? And this is why I say some of y'all deserve misery. That's crazy. That's like somebody saying, listen, I'll take care of all your bills for the rest of your life. All you have to do is not go get a job. And then later on down the line, I just need to get me a job.
Financial pressure adds another layer. One household becomes two. Legal fees replace vacations. Shared responsibilities become solo obligations. Independence doesn't split the mortgage. Empowerment doesn't co-parent at 2 a.m. Social circles shift too. Some friends disappear once the drama fades. The applause that came with the announcement of choosing myself quiets down when daily reality sets in. Support is loud at the beginning and scarce in the maintenance phase.
I married the nice guy, the guy who made me laugh. I married the guy who was stable, who didn't yell. I married the guy who wasn't afraid to get down on the floor and play with kids. I married the guy who laughed really loudly, who didn't seem to care if anybody was watching. I married the guy who was soft with me.
And she keeps going on and literally describe like the guy that I guess any woman could ask for. The perfect guy. Then goes on to say that they are going through a divorce that she initiated. So you mean to tell me if you are hand delivered the perfect guy, listen, we don't have to, accuse anybody of anything. She literally said it out of her own mouth, so y'all can't go against that. The perfect guy hand delivered to you, and you telling me you just out of nowhere just want to I think I should find something new. I can find something better. If you already have the best, how could you get better? And this is why I say some of y'all deserve misery. That's crazy. That's like somebody saying, listen, I'll take care of all your bills for the rest of your life. All you have to do is not go get a job. And then later on down the line, I just need to get me a job.
And the hardest part in this narrative is the silence of comparison. Watching an ex rebuild, stabilize, maybe even remarry. That's when the emotional math changes. What once felt like liberation starts to look irreversible.
Recently divorced and kind of figuring out this new way of life. I was married for 23 years and with that person for 3 years prior. So for a total of 26 years of my life, I have been out of the game of dating, making friends, going out, and stuff like that as a single woman in her 40s. Yeah, I'm 47. So I've raised children. My children are adult children now. And it's kind of interesting because it's so lonely at this stage in life after divorce, especially with older children, because you make all your friends when they're younger, or at least I did. I met my friends mostly through my kids' activities. I was a stay-at-home mom, and I took them to practices. I went to school, all that stuff.
Hey, it's me, Jenna. Recently divorced and trying to survive this year. I'm gonna be honest. The random things that trigger me are the craziest things. I'm sitting in my car, literally sitting in my car, trying to pull myself together because I did what any mom does, and I pulled an emergency drive to my daughter because she needed something, and drove an hour because she's at college to drop something off, and was just so thankful that I could do it for her and fit her in my schedule. And the littlest thing she said just triggered me, and this is the second time in a week that my child has triggered me without even meaning to. So we're getting ready to leave, and she's like, well, I'll be home because I'm going to be at the Clemson Notre Dame game because Dad's going to take us all. You think that's nothing, right? Nothing, right? And it instantly, she instantly saw a switch in me. And she's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, nothing. Because, I don't talk about that stuff. I don't want her to worry. So last week she says, oh, well, Dad said for Christmas we're going to go to Gatlinburg and be there for the holidays and do Dollywood. That man never once ever went to Gatlinburg or Dollywood ever in his entire life before he met me. That was where my family always went. I'm from Tennessee. That's something we always did. It was a bonding thing. And now that's what he's trying to do. It's like he's taken every single tradition I've ever done and now turned it into his. Everything I've ever done. Now I find myself triggered because during the hardest time of my year last year, of me literally trying to stay alive, me dealing with all the craziness of my ex, the lying, the alienation, him calling me a whore, him having my children call me a whore. Why? Not because I did anything bad, because I wore spaghetti straps and all that. And the only way that he could use my children against me was to say I was on social media. I'm a photographer. I make silly TikToks. Honestly, I'll probably progress more with my TikToks because at first they were just pictures. But the more I was stressed, the more I hid in myself, the more I tried to survive, the more I took refuge in TikToks and finding stuff that, resonated with me. And honestly, it's the way I realized what a covert narcissist was, or how bad my abuse was, or mental abuse, or financial abuse, and all that stuff. Literally, TikTok has saved my life in so many ways. Who would think, Mom, we're going to Gatlinburg for Christmas, would trigger me? This man's had at least 3 vacations in the past year to really nice places with my children. At least 3 that I know of, because he has them lie to me. He has them outright lie to me about so much stuff. So who knows? God knows what they've done. And
then the holidays and all that. Now my triggers are, oh, he gets to just go and take my kids to the Notre Dame and Clemson game. I wish I could do that. I can't afford to do that. Why? Because he screwed me. He lied about owning a company. And there's ways to prove it. I'm trying to be happy and show my kids that like life can move on, but the triggers, the random fucking triggers that have me sitting in a Quick Trip parking lot trying not to cry. Why? Because my ex has so much money. He makes more than $18,000 a month easily, or at least he did. He made almost $1 million the year before we divorced and then lied about it. He has all the money at his fingertips to do whatever he wants, to buy my children, take them on trips, take them on vacations. Why I literally have the bare minimum to pay my bills on top of trying to restart a career because it was a hobby, because I was a stay-at-home mom. And now I sit here with the triggers. A fucking trigger because he's going to the Clemson Notre Dame game with my kids. I can't just randomly afford that. Hell, I can't even get them all in the same room at the same time. So I sit here. And I'm going to get through this trigger. I'm going to suck it up, buttercup.
So let's just be real
and
here.
I'm move on. But it's not fair. Like, it's not fair. I'm pissed.
Emotions can initiate permanent decisions, but they don't shield anyone from long-term consequences. When the fantasy of endless upgrades collides with practical reality, regret doesn't arrive dramatically. It creeps in slowly through bills, birthdays, and empty spaces that independence alone can't fill. That's all for today. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and don't forget to press the notification bell so you get the latest updates from our channel.